Okay, welcome to the couch.
Welcome to the couch.
I think this is our first couch therapy on this couch.
No, I think
fully
we've done
complete.
Oh, maybe it's possible. I don't know.
Couch is fully complete.
Yeah.
All right. We have a tiny dog that likes to bark at the neighbors, so you might hear that as the recording goes on.
Mhm.
All right, so this one's kind of special. We just got back from Savannah, Georgia. We just got done unpacking. We're in the downtown historic district, I believe. This morning, walking around, learning about some of the history. And last Friday, a couple of days ago, I guess, we did an event called GoRuck Tough. And we want to start with that. This was something that I've done before.
This is my first time, and I'll set the stage for you. So this event starts at 9 o'clock at night on Friday morning or Friday evening,
Right.
and Friday night. And it goes for 12 hours. Well, we went for 11 and a half hours till 9.
Book 12 hours.
Yeah.
Like expect to be out in the
Expect to be out for 12 hours.
Mhm.
So
It's over when it's over.
And it involves carrying a backpack with a 30-pound plate in it, about 8 pounds of water, and some extra gear,
Snacks
cookies. and various things. Then you show up and you do PT for an hour or 2 or 3. I don't know. I'd lost track of time.
It must have been like 90 minutes.
It was a long time. We did at least 400 exercises because every person in the group did an exercise, and up to 10 of them.
Well, what they did was they started with the first person. There's 40 people. We're all in this huge circle. There's a cadre, the guy running it. He's the boss. He's our shaman. He starts with the first person, says, "What's your name?" It's like Larry. And then we had like 3 Larrys. Says, "All right, what exercise do you want to do?" And the first guy was like, "All right, we're going to do 10 of these, finger open and close. That's it."
Because that was after we had already done a bunch of things,
like
a bunch of warm-ups,
some exercises, some push-ups, stuff like that. Okay, and then they go to the second person. The second person says, "All right, what's the first person's name?" And you go around the circle. And by the time you get to the 10th person, they have to recount the names of the last 9 people. And each person is picking an exercise and the number of reps. So, burpees were in there, man makers, and you count them out. I did shadow boxing. That was kind of fun.
Yeah, I don't remember what I did. I
think it was just jumping jacks.
Yeah, flutter kicks. Yeah, I like flutter kicks. Yeah. But so we do an hour and a half of PT, and then we pick up a bunch of weight, and then we walk somewhere.
The water bladders.
Yeah, right? We picked up a bunch of water.
5 gallons of water.
And then we walk somewhere. It took about 15 minutes. Then we fill a whole bunch of bags with sand. And then from there, we carry that probably, I estimate about 1,500 pounds of weight, between 1,000 and 1,500 pounds of weight. It was a lot of weight to cover over 40 people. And that weight had to be moved from where we were about 3 miles across town. And then from there, we proceeded to walk. We probably walked a total of about 20 miles.
Yeah, I mean, the advertisement says 10 to 15 miles.
Oh, okay, so it's 10 to 15 miles.
But we don't really know. They don't tell us time. Yeah. They tell you have a time hack, which is a time to get from one distance to another. And if you get the time hack, if you manage to make it from point A to point B in the time allotted, then you don't have to suffer. If you miss it, you generally do 1 rep per minute that you missed.
Yeah.
And so we were doing burpees and squats and stuff like that. So you notice like the cadre would be like, "You're doing 23 of these."
Oh yeah.
Or we did 23, I didn't tell you. You're like, "Okay, 23, now you're done," or 19 or whatever.
So the upshot is I paid some guy to yell at me for 12 hours while I carried an enormous amount of.
Yell at anybody. We yelled at each other.
Yeah. He didn't. Well, nice. No, he didn't yell. He was just very stern and told us that he was going to make us suffer if we didn't get it right.
Yeah, he says it in a very nice way.
Yes, he's like, very nice.
"Oh, you're gonna wait?" So I want to tell a story. We're carrying what I call the giant baby turd. It's a giant bag with 4 60-pound sandbags in it.
240 pounds.
Yeah. Is it 4? Yeah, it must have been 4. Yeah, 240 pounds. So 4 people trying to carry this on 2 sticks. or we had 4 sticks. I'm not exactly sure what the hell happened with the sticks. We were carrying it wrong. Basically, the weight was on the bottom of the stick. So you think of the sticks as like, I think they were just side by side, basically created a box and tied together. And so the sticks broke.
Yep.
And so we stand around there trying to figure this out. And Kadres is watching. And he's watching. He's like, all right, if that's not up in 3 minutes, you're gonna suffer.
We're starting PT.
Yeah, we're starting PT if you don't get moving in 3 minutes. And it's like, okay, just get it off the ground and go, man. And people are like, no, we gotta figure this out.
But trying to,
and she was in charge at that point.
I was leading at that point, which was incredibly unfortunate.
Well, there's nothing you can do. We just had to try to figure it out.
And so, so imagine like a canvas bag that has a handle on each end, but it weighs 240 pounds.
The handles are basically useless.
Yeah, you can't really carry it. So it has to be carried on somebody's shoulders. Like the weight has to, like, that's the best way to carry it.
You have to get it on top of your head.
Yeah, you have to get it up because the arms just can't hold it for very long. And so, but trying to figure out how to balance 240 pounds amongst more than one person of different heights and various things, not a simple thing. But moving this way, like, so this 1,000 to 1,500 pounds had to get moved from where we basically walked it 10, I'm guessing 15 miles through the night. And at one point we had to do like mile runs, not with the 1,500 pounds, thank God, because otherwise that would have been
just their 40 pounds away.
No, just our 40 pound back.
We had 5 waypoints.
Yeah.
And you're talking about the statue one, which was I think the 4th.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That was when we did a mile run around.
So I'm not telling this very well, but it's insane. Like it takes a special kind of weird to want to do this. I mean, it's like, what's your idea of a vacation? Oh, we go and walk around with a whole bunch of weight for 12 hours.
With a bunch of other crazy people.
With a bunch of other crazy people. And it's amazing. Like getting the opportunity to push your body to, I got the opportunity to push my body to its limits. And there goes puppy. Getting to push my body to its limits and be part of a team and just see what I'm capable of. And like, I told him ahead of time, I said, don't let me quit. And the only time I wanted to quit was when we were about a half an hour from the end, or not a half mile, a half mile from the end. Like I did okay the whole time. I was fine. And then the last half hour, it was just brutal. I was carrying this water bladder and I had 2 water bladders hanging off of my backpack. And then one was leaking down my leg. And my shoulders were killing me. And like everyone, like part of the problem was if like the weight would be so much that I couldn't quite get a full like breath because I couldn't move, like, because my hands were full with the water bladder. I couldn't like adjust my shoulder straps and take a deep breath. And so I'd be like, can you please take this I'd have to ask somebody, can you please take this for a second so I can take a breath? Mm-hmm. But we did it. And then at the end, we got to participate in something that was truly amazing to watch.
I carried the 120-pound sacks.
Yeah.
And that was a brutal amount of weight, right? With everything else. And like, that was just fucking oppressive. So I hear you talking about your water bladders. I'm like, yeah, that was my break.
Yeah.
I wanted to take a break and carried 40 pounds of water. But I was, 6'2", 279 and a half, whatever that is. At one point, we made a deal to take 2 of the 60-pound sandbags out of the giant baby turd, big duffel bag. So that was a little bit lighter. That was our morale killer. And so those got taken out. And so the giant bag was then just 120. So we had 3 120 sacks in that configuration. Like an 80 and 2 60s.
And then a whole lot of small 60s that didn't have handles.
There were like 6 of those, I think.
Yeah.
So we ended up with 8 after we took the 2 out. They don't have handles and they're stiff. So sometimes sand, like the sandbag that I have, I think it's about 70 pounds. I can put that on my back and kind of mold it to my back a little bit. So some of the weight kind of comes in the front. But those stiff members, it just doesn't move. And it's so uncomfortable. And there's no handles. It's just impossible. That's kind of the whole point. But once we got that figured out, we found a 2x4 and we put the big sack on the 2x4 and it kind of draped over. So it looked like a weird thing I'm not going to mention, but the gentlemen in the group will recognize how two things hanging from a pole look. So I'll just leave it like that. So we had some fun with that, but like it wobbled. So it was not a stiff member, but having that on my shoulder really sucked, especially if I was the taller guy in the equation. The smaller guy, the weight kind of got messed up. If I was the taller guy in the front, I was taking a tremendous amount of that load. Smaller guy in the back would take less. So, you know, you can kind of work it out. It's like if I was up there, I could kind of help out a little bit more. But all of that just sucked.
So, but
anyway.
So then at the very end, we got to participate in the retiring of an American flag. There was a guy there who had been a Boy Scout for a long time and had worked with Boy Scouts. And there is a ceremony that you can do when an American flag is no longer fit to fly. And so he walked us through this. Oh, there's a puppy. He walked us through this ceremony and it was very emotional. And one of the things that I thought of as we were listening to it is I remember when I was in the 4th grade, we did a school ceremony. Actually, I was in the 3rd and the 4th grade, did a school ceremony, and there was a song, Proud to Be an American. And I still remember the lyrics to that song. And that was the song that was playing in my head as we were going through this, as we were watching this and participating in it. And, you know, and the other thing is that throughout this whole thing, there is an American flag that is in front of the entire group. And so I spent an hour or so carrying this American flag, and carrying an American flag for an hour is actually pretty tiring. Like holding it up like this, or, you know, it's like
dodging the trees.
Yeah.
It has a shovel at the bottom. The pole isn't like light plastic. I think it was metal, wasn't it?
It was PVC.
Oh, it was PVC? The other two, I think, were metal.
Yeah, one of them was metal.
Flags, yeah.
But so the ceremony at the end to retire the American flag was very emotional and beautiful to watch and participate in.
That really made it worth it. I don't think anybody but the cadre and this Boy Scout guy knew this was going to happen. I think it was a surprise to everyone.
Yeah.
It was really quite an amazing thing to be a part of. And I remember the last movement to get to the finish line was just fucking brutal. It's just like block after block and everything hurt. Like specifically my shoulders and my feet. I pulled a really dumb, stupid and wore the wrong shoes for this. Wore these heavy ass boots that just wore me out. But I remember it's like it's like you get to that point, it's like, idiot dogs. Saying hello to the neighbors. It's like, okay, you want to quit, but like, what are you gonna do? You're half a mile from the starting point. You're gonna take a cab a half mile to your car, just have that kind of humiliation there.
Yeah.
Like just stick it out. It's gonna take you longer to quit at this point than it would to just do it.
Well, and the other thing is you don't have your phone, and you only have $20.
Yeah, but actually, I had my phone.
Yeah.
Gotten an Uber or something, but I would have taken. There's no way I was going to do that.
Yeah.
But I really wanted to.
Oh gosh. Yeah. There's a moment where it's like, oh God, my feet were hurting so bad.
This is really where I think you get to. Hang on. That's enough.
Macy, that's enough.
There's a conversation happening in the dog community right now. We have to call them off.
Yeah.
All right. So at the end of this march, I think is a really special part where you get to meet yourself. You really get to see the excuses that come up and the drive to quit. And what was that? Oh,
bark over a Kong.
Ronan's got a toy, and he's one of our many rescues, and we gotta kind of keep an eye on him as drives.
So
anyway, life with dogs.
You keep talking.
Okay. So I think this is really where sort of the middle meets the road. Like, what was the name of the guy with the boulder? Sisyphus. Thank you. Sisyphus and his cursed to push the boulder up the hill indefinitely, and like making friends with your boulder and stuff like that. Yeah, hold that one.
Yeah.
You're in detention now, buddy.
But moving right now is not super easy.
Yeah, we're both pretty tired, so we're pretty sore. I think Saturday I was pretty much out of commission. I pushed myself pretty hard, but I ran out of gas at the end, and I kind of gerrymandered towards the end on the fifth movement, and I feel really bad about that. I think I could have done better, but I was pretty smoked. So the notes I'm taking away from this is like, I got to get better at nutrition. I didn't eat enough. That's hugely important. I ordered some BCAAs.
Okay.
So it's like carbohydrate recovery stuff. I'm gonna put that in the mix and start training more heavy bags and stuff. But it's just like the endurance of getting there. I absolutely love these events. I tell you what, on that fifth movement, man, I was like, you're so stupid. Why am I doing this? This is such a dumb hobby. Sure enough, I think we're sitting around like Saturday night or something, or Sunday. It's all kind of a blur. But I remember thinking, all right, when's the next one?
Yep. So we know we already know when we're going to do the next one.
I bought my tickets. Like, I got home and I'm setting everything up again, turning on all my machines and stuff. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go buy the tickets to the next one, which is in like 2 weeks. We're gonna try to have my sister down for this one, so we'll see how that goes. Anyway, I think that's just the setup. This is the background for what we did.
Yeah.
The stupid thing that we did. By the way, the next one we're doing is the Baton Death March, and we're going to do the tough and the basic. So there's another event that happens afterwards, and sometimes you can get a unicorn item, so you get patches for these. But if you do special things, you get special
we do.
items.
We pay this. We do this whole thing for a patch about this big.
Yeah,
That's the only thing you get. That's the only thing you get out of it.
Well,
besides the pride.
I think we get a lot out of it. Yeah.
So, you go ahead. I was going to go into was it worth it?
Oh, okay. So I wanted to bring in some of the John Vervaeke, Jordan Peterson stuff and the Rebel Wisdom things. If you're watching this and you know me from like BJJ or something like that's a very specific type of people, I think, who may not be hip to this language. So forgive me if you're one of those people. You can stop watching now. It's fine. There's no penalty for that. But one of the things that we really enjoy is this Rebel Wisdom stuff, and it talks about like wisdom traditions and stuff. That's basically another word for religion, and talking about the importance of these traditions. And these traditions, like one of them that we've been talking about specifically, has been no sex before marriage, and how that can really confuse things. And like, we are all victims to our brain chemistry. The reason that no sex before marriage is a thing is it's like this ancient wisdom. There's a reason for that rule being there. And when you don't follow that rule, things can get really confusing. And
can I add something for that?
Well, if you don't believe me, look at Tinder. Right.
Okay. So one of the pieces of that is, there's, we are designed to be in community, and yet at the same time, touch, especially sexual touch, releases bonding chemicals. It releases chemicals into your body that say, I am bonded to this person. And if you do that before you know that person well enough, there is a whole lot of things that then have to be grappled with. Like, separating from someone once you've bonded with them is like an addiction. It is, because your body, is connected to them, and your nervous systems are synced up. There's a lot of things that all happen as a result of, sexual contact. And so, why are we talking about this in regards to this? I don't know.
So there's a rule in specifically Christianity, I think other religions too, that is no sex before marriage. It's a tradition. The reason for that tradition to exist isn't just so that men and father figures can tell women what to do with their bodies. There's some wisdom there. There's some wisdom there that has been cultivated over many, many years, long time of people living together. What the hell is that?
I don't know.
We have a weird noise. We can't tell if we're in danger. Anyway.
my guess is it's something from one of the neighbors doing something.
Okay, we won't worry about it. Another
This
strange
particular
noise.
episode has got a lot of distractions. That's
Sorry
life.
about that. Okay, and so there's a reason for this tradition being there. It's old, it's wise, it's old people holding this wisdom for young people. And so when an old person tells you to do something like say yes, ma'am, appreciate your elders, stuff like that, there's a reason that they're doing this. And again, it's not I know that there's a lot of people in this world that think that religion is old and stupid. Like, yes, it's old. There's a reason for this stuff to exist. There's wisdom there. So what we went through may seem kind of stupid for some people. Like, why would you do that? Why would these cadres hold a wisdom that is way older than we are, or they are. This is like the warrior tradition. Like when we talk about sex for marriage, like that's a family thing, you know, saying grace before this is gratitude thing. These guys hold wisdom of a warrior that's very, very old. And they were willing to share this with us and allow us to participate in that. And I find that so fucking special and interesting and neat. We were able to do it. And if I just be completely honest with myself here, I think if we sat the cadre down and I didn't pee myself in his presence, like, cause I just waiting for something to do PT or something. This guy's, he looks like just I don't know, he's got like a 10-foot long beard. It's crazy. But you know, you look at him, it's like, oh, he's just an average dude. But I know a lot of average dudes that are very good at what they do and could probably kill me. So if I sat him down and really got honest with stuff, I'm betting that he'd tell me that I didn't do very good, because he knows that I could do better. And I know that about myself, and maybe he could read that off me. But at the end of the ceremony, he shook my hand and said, good job. I didn't believe it because I didn't believe it. Right. I kind of read my own failure into that. But I think it's such an amazing thing that we get to participate in this. And this guy, this cadre, from what he told us, you know, we didn't get the specifics or a lot of detail, but he helps train some of the most badass warriors in our society, like the people that go and do the hard jobs, things that you see in the movies and stuff. Like they actually do this stuff. They're trained by this guy and other guys like this. So to participate in all of this stuff, it's just so special for me. And I really want to dig into that, really honor that tradition by doing better.
Well, and to, you know, I will say that
like I called him a shaman, like the holder of this really interesting wisdom.
You know, you are harder, you know, we all can be harder on ourselves than anyone. And I would say that you, you know, you did the thing that you set out to do, which was to not get beat by your attitude.
Yeah, I totally.
So you
sour.
Yeah, so like you are, you know, it's like you each time, you know, like one of the things I have learned is like you can't change too many things at once. And so there was a specific goal that you set for yourself and you met that goal. And, you know, for me, like there was a point, you know, there was a point in time where the women were encouraged, you know, the other women who had done a lot of these events were encouraging, you know, the other women to, you know, if you haven't carried one of the big weights, carry one of the big weights. I knew that my goal was to finish. Like I knew, and I was judging for myself of like, okay, what can I do and still be able to keep going? And so I was just picking the things that I knew that I could do and keep going. And, you know, I also know that I can do better. I know that next time I can add more to it. And so, you know, being able to set out to do something really hard and set a goal for yourself of, you know, what's the one thing I'm going to work on when I do this thing. And I think you did that. And we both learned some things, you know, there. And so from there, it's like, you know, that's.
Did you have fun?
Some of the time I did. You know,
we were talking about that question.
Yeah, and so
like,
yeah.
Did you have fun?
Well, this is not something that you do for fun. Like it's not. I'm not gonna lie.
Feels fun now.
Like
didn't feel fun at the time.
Yeah, but you know But one of the things that is an interesting question is like we ask people, "Did you have a good time?" And as though that is the objective. And I think one of the things, like the questions and the language we use to talk about our world inform us so much. And like in our culture, having a good time is the pinnacle of success. But I think that that's a mistake. And so the question that we tried to answer coming out of this was it worth it? And abso-freaking-lutely. It was absolutely worth it. It was absolutely, absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. It was so,
Okay.
it was incredibly worth it. It pushed me, like, I pushed myself to my limits, and, learning how to, and there's a thing about learning what your limit is, because you know what, I have a voice in my head that can kick in and say, knock it off, Kira, get your ass moving and get into gear. And I can listen to that voice, but then when I do, that's when my attitude gets pissy and cranky, and like I push myself harder than the whole system can handle. And so knowing right where that edge is, being able to know, okay, if I push myself beyond this thing, I'm likely to become bitchy and pissy, which affects everyone else. And so it's not my job to push myself beyond my limits and become bitchy and pissy, because that impacts everyone around me. So knowing when to push and when to back off. And, it was like the first time I carried weight, because the first round I was leading, so I wasn't carrying anything. Then when I carried something, I carried the flag. Then the next time I carried a bag of a water bladder.
40 pounds.
Then the next time I carried 2 really empty water bladders with hanging off my back, and then another like 2/3. I had 2 bags on my back, and then another one in my arms. So each time I was doing, I upped the ante just a little bit. I pushed myself just a little bit harder than I had the previous time. So I know that going through that,
So it was worth it.
it was worth it.
My experience on the carrying stuff was a little bit different. Like I would take a break at the 80-pound weight. Just like, sorry, I can't carry. I'm already on the 80. I can't take the 120 unless you find somebody who's going to get the 80. And so that was the deal. I was trading off with a guy named Larry.
Yeah.
I think it was Larry. I called him Larry Steve because I can remember his name was Larry or Steve.
Well, and I mean, one of the interesting parts is so there's 40 people and there was 10 women. So, there's 10 women, 30 men. And, as the women, like, figuring out what you can, how you can push yourself. The men, like, I pause here because I feel like watching, there is a tremendous amount of honor in the men that participate in something like this.
Yeah.
And there is, it's like there were some people who had attitudes, no doubt, it's a thing. Like everybody.
Bubba Gump.
Yeah. There was one guy I called Bubba Gump because he had hair like Forrest Gump, and he was wearing a Bubba Gump hat. Like,
I didn't think he was winning the battle with the attitude, but he showed up for the basics. So
yeah.
Give him credit for that.
Yeah. So, but the men, it's like they, like, I don't know. There's like words kind of fail me because it's like, I know what I know what my limits are physically. And yet watching these men just pick up this weight and like, all right, let's fucking do this. We're doing it.
Frickin'. Let's frickin' do this.
Yeah, let's frickin' do this. And that's amazing.
Yeah. It was hard.
Yeah.
I always started on that stupid piece of wood, the 2x4 that we put between the truck nuts. Look like pair nuts. Guess didn't get that from before.
Yeah. I think they got it. Yeah.
So we were pretty out of it Saturday. I kind of lost that whole day.
Yeah, we got back and
Yeah.
took a shower, and then it was like, I'm hungry.
Oh yeah, we went back to sleep.
Like I was asleep in like 5 minutes. Like I was out for 2 hours, and then it was like, okay, let's get some food.
Yeah, we walked around Savannah for a while and looked at the history, got some breakfast, and
Yeah.
it was great. Yeah. Well, it's absolutely worth it.
It was absolutely
Freaking worth it.
freaking worth it.
Freaking worth it. All right, well, that's all I got.
Okay,
All right, let's wrap it up.
bye.
Good stuff.